The underestimated species, the Grand Assembly Hall of the Galactic Confederation, fell silent as Supreme Overseer Valkyrie rose from his biomechanical throne. His iridescent carapace shimmered under the artificial lights, each plate shifting hues to signal his barely contained amusement to those familiar with cerulean expressions. Behind him, a massive holographic display illuminated the chamber, showing a collection of crude, boxy spacecraft. Esteemed representatives of the 342 spacefaring civilizations, Valkrix's voice reverberated through the chamber's perfect acoustics. I present to you the pride of Earth's so-called Star Navy. The chamber erupted in a cascade of sounds: clicking mandibles, rumbling throat sacs, whistling air bladders, all universal translator nodes struggling to keep pace with the overlapping mockery. The human vessels appeared primitive by any galactic standard: rectangular metal constructs with visible well blinds, chemical thrusters jutting awkwardly from their hulls, and weapon systems that might have impressed a species just learning to split the atom. These primitives believe they deserve consideration for full Confederation membership, continued Valkyrie, his primary eyes blinking in sequence to emphasize his point. They think their ships, barely capable of traveling between their own planetary satellites a century ago, deserve equal standing with vessels that have traversed the galactic arm for millennia. In the farthest recess of the chamber, Commander Alexis Torres of the United Earth Alliance sat with practiced stillness, her expression betraying nothing. As Earth's military attaché to the Confederation, she had endured these displays of contempt for 4 years. Each barred, each dismissive gesture was carefully recorded and transmitted back to Earth Command. She caught the eye of diplomat Jerome Williams, who gave her the slightest of nods. Observed their flagship, sneered Ambassador Kraz of the Draconid Imperium, pointing a scaled appendage at a particularly ungainly vessel at the center of the hologram. My hatchling's educational simulator generates more impressive designs. The Draconids represented the dominant military force in the sector, their vast empire spanning hundreds of worlds across 2 spiral arms. Their sleek, asymmetrical warships, with signature emerald energy signatures, had conquered dozens of species. Earth, a newcomer to interstellar politics, was merely their latest target for intimidation. Alexis's neural implant vibrated subtly. A simple message scrolled across her retinal display. NIJTH8 of UK, ready, awaiting authorization. She touched the silver pin on her collar, an innocuous gesture that activated her quantum-entangled communicator, and subvocalized, "Let them continue their performance." Back on Earth, deep within the hollowed-out interior of Earth's moon, Admiral Helena Zhou nodded as the message appeared on her terminal. "They're still underestimating us," she said to the assembled officers in the command center. Exactly as predicted. The enormous chamber housing project Nighthawk hummed with activity as final preparations commenced. For 20 years, humanity had maintained a facade of technological inferiority, while secretly channeling resources into revolutionary military technology. The vessels mocked by the Confederation were indeed obsolete, intentionally so. They were decoys designed to draw attention while the real work happened beyond alien sensors. "Status report," Zhao demanded. Colonel Viktor Petrov, chief engineer of Project Nighthawk, stepped forward. "Singularity drive operating at 98% efficiency. Quantum phase cloaking system is stable. Adaptive nanohull is fully integrated. Graviton cascade weaponry is charged and calibrated." He allowed himself a rare smile. "She's ready, Admiral." The ship itself was unlike anything humanity had publicly acknowledged. Rather than the utilitarian boxes representing Earth's official fleet, Nighthawk was a marvel of elegant engineering. Its hull composed of self-regenerating nanomaterials that absorbed scanner waves rather than reflecting them. Its propulsion system incorporated principles of zero-point energy manipulation that Earth had discreetly developed after decades of studying recovered alien artifacts found buried beneath the Martian surface. Relics from an ancient war that predated humanity's rise. Most importantly, Nighthawk carried weapons systems that no one in the Confederation believed humans capable of conceptualizing, let alone building. Graviton cascade emitters that could disrupt the very fabric of space-time. Positronic disintegration beams that could unravel matter at the subatomic level, and defensive systems that bent probability itself around the ship. The Draconid battle fleet has moved to the edge of our system, reported Lieutenant Commander Sanchez from Tactical. 23 capital ships, 52 cruisers, and over 100 support vessels. They're making no attempt to conceal their approach. Zhao nodded. They want us to see them coming. Classic intimidation tactic. Back in the Confederation chamber, the mockery had evolved into something more ominous. Ambassador Kraz stood before the assembly, his reptilian face contorted in what passed for a smile among his species. The Draconid Imperium has grown tired of Earth's pretensions, he announced, his voice dripping with contempt. These humans refuse to acknowledge their proper place in the galactic hierarchy. They resist our rightful claims to the resources in their system, hiding behind obsolete treaties and appealing to the Confederation's protection. Murmurs spread throughout the chamber. Everyone knew where this was heading. Therefore, Kraz continued, the Emperor has decreed that Earth must be brought to heel. Our fleet stands ready to enforce Draconid sovereignty over the Sol system. Alexis remained motionless, her breathing steady despite the open threat. This was the moment Earth had been preparing for. Supreme Overseer Valkyx raised his upper limbs for quiet. Ambassador Kraz, while the Confederation acknowledges the Imperium's concerns, military action against a recognized independent world would violate our charter. Kraz made a dismissive gesture. The Confederation's charter protects civilizations capable of defending themselves in the galactic community. Earth clearly lacks this capability. Their fleet is a joke, as we've all seen. This is not conquest, it's supervision of a primitive species for their own protection. Alexis finally stood. The motion was so unexpected that the chamber fell silent. The Draconid Imperium has misjudged Earth, she said, her voice calm but carrying throughout the vast space. We request that Ambassador Kraz transmit a message to his fleet. Turn back now. Laughter erupted once more, louder than before. Kraz approached Alexis, towering over her human frame. Your species' arrogance exceeds even your technological backwardness, he hissed. What exactly do you think your pitiful fleet will do against the might of Draconid? Alexis met his gaze unflinchingly. We don't make threats, Ambassador, only promises. She touched her collar pin again and spoke a single word. Nighthawk. In the void between Earth and Mars, space itself seemed to ripple. Where nothing had been detected moments before, a massive warship suddenly appeared. Unlike the boxy, primitive vessels that represented Earth's public fleet, this ship was a sleek obsidian arrowhead nearly 3 kilometers in length. Its surface seemed to bend light around it, appearing almost liquid as it moved. On the Confederation's main display, the image of Earth's known fleet was suddenly replaced by this new vessel as every sensor in the chamber automatically locked onto the massive energy signature that had appeared from nowhere. Gasps replaced laughter. Supreme Overseer Valkyx's bioluminescence flickered in what his species recognized as shock. What is that? Demanded Kraz, his confidence faltering for the first time. Alexis smiled. That, Ambassador, is humanity's response to 20 years of being underestimated. We call her Nighthawk. As the Confederation watched in stunned silence, Nighthawk accelerated toward the approaching Draconid fleet, reaching speeds that the most advanced ships in the galaxy struggled to match. The message was clear. Earth had never been defenseless, merely patient. You see, Alexis continued as the chamber remained transfixed by the display. Humans have a long history of being underestimated. We've learned that sometimes the best strategy is to let your adversary believe they have the advantage, until they don't. The first phase of humanity's grand deception had ended. The real battle was about to begin. Turning the tide. High Admiral Krell of the Draconid Imperium stood on the command deck of his flagship, the Eternal Dominance, watching the tactical display with growing concern. His fleet, the pride of the Emperor's subjugation force, had entered the Sol system expecting minimal resistance. The intelligence reports had been clear. Earth's vessels were primitive, their weapons archaic, their tactics unsophisticated. Yet now his sensors detected something impossible. A single massive vessel approaching at speeds his analysts claimed were beyond theoretical limits. "What am I looking at?" he demanded, his dorsal spines rising in agitation. His science officer, Shax, frantically analyzed the incoming data. "Unknown configuration, Admiral. The vessel's energy signature exceeds anything in our database. Its hull composition. The scanners can't penetrate it. Impossible. Route more power to the sensor array." "Sir, we've already maximized output. The target is. It's absorbing our scanning beams." Krill's inner eyelids flickered, a sign of deep concern among his kind. A stealth technology. The humans are supposed to be decades away from even basic gravitic shielding. On the bridge of Nighthawk, Captain Maya Chen watched the Draconid fleet grow larger on her tactical display. 20 years of preparation had led to this moment. Humanity, long dismissed as technological infants by the galactic community, was about to reveal just how deeply they had been underestimated. "All systems operational," reported her XO, Commander Darius Jackson. "Singularity drive functioning at optimal capacity. Quantum phase cloaking maintaining our sensor profile distortion. Weapons grid charged and targeting solutions plotted for all major Draconid vessels." Chen nodded. "Open a channel to the Draconid flagship." The main screen flickered to life, revealing High Admiral Krell's reptilian face. His expression showed surprise. Clearly, he hadn't expected the humans to possess communications technology sophisticated enough to penetrate his flagship's security protocols. "This is Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Defense Force vessel Nighthawk," she stated calmly. "Your fleet has entered sovereign Earth space with hostile intent. You will withdraw immediately or face the consequences." Krell regained his composure quickly. "Human, your single ship, impressive as it may be, cannot stand against the might of a Draconid battle fleet. Stand down and accept Imperial protection, or be destroyed." Chen smiled thinly. "Admiral, we've spent 20 years listening to threats from species who believe themselves superior. Today, that changes." She turned to her weapons officer, Lieutenant Riza Karim. "Provide the Draconids with a demonstration. Target locked on unoccupied space near their formation." Karim confirmed. "Gravitic pulse ready. Fire." A beam of concentrated energy, barely visible to the naked eye, lanced from Nighthawk toward a point of empty space 5 kilometers from the Draconid vanguard. For a moment, nothing happened. Then space itself seemed to fold inward, creating a singularity no larger than a marble. The gravitational distortion lasted just 3 seconds before collapsing, but the display of power was unmistakable. On the Eternal Dominance, alarms blared. They generated a controlled quantum singularity. Shax shouted. "The gravitational wave alone damaged the shields on our forward destroyers." Krell's confidence evaporated. "Impossible. No species at Earth's development stage cold." "Sir, they're targeting our ships now," interrupted his tactical officer. "Evasive maneuvers. Launch all fighters. Fire all forward batteries," Krell ordered, his composure crumbling. The Draconid fleet responded with practiced precision, their emerald energy weapons lancing toward Nighthawk from multiple vectors. But the Earth vessel seemed to bend light around itself, causing many of the shots to miss entirely. Those that did connect were absorbed by the ship's adaptive hull, which redistributed the energy without damage. Meanwhile, in the Confederation chamber, the assembled representatives watched the unfolding battle in stunned silence. The holographic display showed the massive Draconid fleet, previously considered unstoppable, struggling against a single Earth vessel. "How is this possible?" whispered Supreme Overseer Valkyrie to Alexis. "Your species showed no indication of such technology." Alexis smiled. "Overseer, humanity has a saying. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. For 20 years, we let the galaxy believe we were technologically inferior, while we studied every advanced species. We learned from your successes and your failures. We adapted. We improved. And most importantly, we waited for the right moment. On the battlefield, Nighthawk executed maneuvers that defied conventional physics. Its singularity drive allowed it to appear at different points in space almost instantaneously, confounding Draconid targeting systems. When it fired its main weapons, an array of graviton cascade emitters, the results were devastating. Draconid ships found their own mass turned against them, their hulls compressed or stretched beyond structural tolerance. They're anticipating our every move, realized High Admiral Krell as he watched Nighthawk's attack pattern. How? He was right. Aboard Nighthawk, an advanced quantum AI named HFY processed combat data at speeds no organic mind could match. It had been trained on decades of covertly gathered intelligence about Draconid tactics and was now predicting their responses with uncanny accuracy. Several Draconid cruisers attempted to flank Nighthawk, only to find the human vessel had already maneuvered to counter their approach. When 3 Draconid destroyers coordinated their fire on Nighthawk's position, the ship momentarily phased out of normal spacetime, allowing the energy beams to pass harmlessly through its previous location. In the Confederation chamber, the representatives watched as the supposedly primitive humans systematically dismantled the most feared military force in the sector. "This is unprecedented," muttered Ambassador Telox of the Arcturian Collective, a species known for their analytical prowess. The humans must have been developing this technology in secret for decades, while letting us believe they were struggling with basic interplanetary travel, added Delegate Nix of the Pleiadian Commonwealth, a deception of extraordinary proportions. Back on the battlefield, High Admiral Krell faced the unthinkable: defeat. 6 of his capital ships had been disabled, their engine cores precision targeted by Nighthawk's weapons. Dozens of cruisers drifted powerless, their systems overloaded by directed energy pulses. His fighters, despite their numerical advantage, couldn't land a significant hit on the human vessel. "Sir," reported his tactical officer, voice strained, "our fleet effectiveness is down to 38%. We cannot sustain this engagement." Krell's pride warred with his tactical training. The Emperor would not forgive failure, but continuing this battle meant the total loss of his fleet. On Nighthawk's bridge, Captain Chen monitored the battle with calm efficiency. "They're regrouping for another assault," she noted, targeting their flagship. "Graviton Cascade charged and ready," reported Lieutenant Karim. Chen paused. Total annihilation of the Draconid fleet was within her capability, but Earth's strategy required a more nuanced approach. Disable their propulsion and weapons systems only. We need them alive to carry our message. Nighthawk's weapons fired with surgical precision. The Eternal Dominance shuddered as its main power systems were systematically targeted and neutralized. Within moments, the massive flagship drifted powerless, its fearsome weapons silent. "Open a channel," Chen ordered. High Admiral Krell appeared on screen, his scales dulled with the humiliation of defeat. "Admiral," Chen began, "your fleet is disabled. Your flagship is at our mercy. This encounter could have ended very differently, but Earth does not seek the destruction of your forces, only recognition of our sovereignty." What are your terms?" Krell managed, each word clearly painful to his pride. "You will return to Draconid space and deliver a message to your Emperor. Earth is not primitive. Earth is not defenseless. And Earth is not to be threatened again." Chen's voice remained level, but carried unmistakable resolve. "Additionally, the Draconid Imperium will support Earth's petition for full membership in the Galactic Confederation." Krell's inner eyelids flickered rapidly, a sign of intense distress. "The Emperor will not. The Emperor will recognize the new reality," Chen interrupted. "Or the next demonstration will not be so limited in scope. We have analyzed 17 critical vulnerabilities in your homeworld's defensive grid. Would you like me to enumerate them?" In the Confederation chamber, the mood had shifted dramatically. The representatives who had laughed at Earth hours before now watched with newfound respect and trepidation as the humans revealed their true technological capabilities. Ambassador Kraz, his earlier arrogance evaporated, approached Alexis with wary formality. "It seems we have misinterpreted Earth's technological status." "A natural mistake," Alexis replied coolly. "One I trust won't be repeated." Supreme Overseer Valkyx called the chamber to order, his bioluminescence now pulsing with the patterns that indicated serious diplomatic business. In light of these extraordinary developments, the Confederation Council will immediately convene to reconsider Earth's petition for full membership. As the representatives filed out, many cast curious glances at Alexis and the other human delegates. The humans had been dismissed as primitives playing at galactic politics. Now, in a single day, they had revealed themselves as a force that had outmaneuvered the entire Confederation. Back on Earth, Admiral Zhao received Captain Chen's report with satisfaction. "Operation Revelation is complete. Phase 1 of our integration strategy has succeeded." Humanity's carefully orchestrated unveiling had achieved precisely what their strategic planners had intended. They had not merely demonstrated military capability, but had established that humans were not to be underestimated in any arena, technological, tactical, or strategic. As Nighthawk escorted the crippled Draconid fleet to the edge of the Sol system, Captain Chen reflected on the ancient human wisdom that had guided their approach. "Appear weak when you are strong." Earth had endured years of condescension and mockery, waiting patiently for the perfect moment to reveal their true strength. The laughter had stopped, the mocking had ceased, and humanity's place among the stars was forever changed.